Hi everyone, welcome to UX Living Lab. We will be starting soon. Hello, welcome to my presentation. Today we are talking about how to listen to users. More specifically, if I am a UI designer, how to listen to my users. That is, the user is going to use the product on which I designed the interface. So, how to listen to users? That's a very simple question in front of us. You can hear from me today about listening users and why we should listen to users and whom to listen, then when we have to listen, where we have to listen, and what we have to listen. As a UI designer, why I should listen to users, whom to listen, when I should listen, and where and what. So this is very simple model I am following. It's called 5Ws. The model is called 5Ws. So very easily we can analyze or we can interpret the context. I'm Thomas. I talk about innovation journeys. So innovation journey starts with empathizing ideas, sketching concept, designing look and feel, rapid prototyping, evaluating MVP, and market feedback. These are the main stages of innovation journey. You can hear from me how a UI designer and how a UX research to be conducted, uh, how a UI designer to work on each stages. Today specifically, I'm talking about the listening. I'll talk about listening, design, development, deployment, and measure. Today we talk about listening. I hope you will be enjoying my presentation. I expect your likes or comments and share to your group and send to your friends. That's up to you, but you are free to do that. What is innovation journey? As I said earlier, innovation journey have 6 steps. Empathizing idea. So ideas to be conceived from users. The empathizing idea, sketching concept, then develop that idea into a concept. Then concept will be moved to the look and feel stage. Then the look and feel will be developed to the prototype, then prototype developed to minimum viable product, then launch the product and market it. These are the important stages or milestones of innovation journey. How, as a UI designer, it is connecting to you, or how a innovation journey is syncing with UI design steps. So, empathizing idea, of course, it's an ideation of a UI designer, ideation step. As a UI designer, you have to make up your idea, and it's called ideation process. You may be thinking about different ideas and something to be rejected, something to be modified, then come to a final idea. Then wireframing. So sketching concept is as same as wireframing. So you can wireframe your idea that your concept, what you have in your mind, and you can develop it as a skeleton form. Then this wireframe is developed towards mock-up. That is more look and feel, the colors, shapes, everything will be finalizing. So it's called mock-up stage. Then from mock-up, we can, as a UI designer, you can develop UI designs, the interactive designs you can develop. That's a prototype stage. Then prototype is slowly developed towards minimum viable products. That means the front-end designer also, or some programming aspects you can do to you can do to your prototyping. Then it comes to a minimum viable product stage. That's also a UI design stage. Then the front-end developer will develop, or the back-end developer will support the front-end developer. Then the product is launched. After launching the product, UI designer can do a real-time UX research. That is from market. It is already launched to the market and can take feedback from the users about their experience. So this is a perfect syncing of stages of UI design with the innovation journey. So ideation process, wireframing, mock-up, UI design prototype, then UI design as a MVP, then real-time UX. Okay, as I said there, the first question starts. Why UI designers listen to users? According to my experience, most of the UI designers starts from intuition. They have an idea in a fine morning and they start designing. Or they understand the product from the product owner, then they got an idea, they start designing. This is the step most of the UI designer starts with. I'm not finding fault with that step, but this is a human habit. We have a lot of ideas. Being a designer, I know that you have a lot of ideas. You are a creative person, so you have a lot of ideas. Of course, you are you will be starting with your own idea. But that idea is just your intuition, your opinion, or your view on the product, how it should work. But as a human habit, all humans feel that their idea is great. This is a problem you have to tackle. Everyone feels that their idea is great. In fact, the idea is great only for that person who is proposing that idea. For others, it's not a great idea. May or may not be. Mostly, it won't be a great idea because that person also have an idea on that product or on that context. So your idea is great only for you, not for others. You have to understand, as a UI designer, you have to understand that situation. So don't say that your idea is a great idea. And in a commercial perspective, an idea is a great idea only after success. Because as Thomas Alva Edison said, I invented 10,000 inventions without no use. He feels that these are great ideas. That's the reason the great visionary and scientist invented a lot of things. But nobody is using it. So we can't consider it as a great idea. The community won't consider it as a great idea. So Edison said that that's a failure. So 10,000 failed ideas, then you may be reaching a successful idea. So don't think that your idea is great. That's one of the wrong perceptions the UI designers have. And don't argue that your idea is great. So you have idea, that's good. What we had to do as a UI designer, what a UI designer has to do with an idea. Because when a UI designer understand the product, there are a lot of ideas come to the UI designer's mind, and they will start with one idea or they conclude to one idea. But still, don't think that that's a great idea. What we have to do as a UI designer, talk to users with the idea before design stage. Talk to users with your idea and reach consensus of ideas. Take the ideas from users. Take their views on your idea from users. Take the extension of your ideas from users. Then take different viewpoints on your idea. Maybe you can present multiple ideas to users and compare, rank your ideas, and compare and finalize, or you can take add-ons to your ideas, then reach a consensus of ideas, then finalize your idea. Then you can lead this exercise, but don't dominate on this exercise. So all people have their own ideas. So present your idea and listen to the users and reach consensus. That is the reason why UI designer listen to users. It may be in any stage, the ideation stage or wireframing stage, mock-up stage, prototype stage, or MVP stage, or the testing stage. You have to talk to users and take their ideas to that stage and conclude. That is very important. So that's the reason I'm saying that don't feel that your idea is great. The company has to implement your idea. Don't take this type of wrong stand in designing. Then the next question comes: whom should UI designer listen to? Okay, you already decided to listen to users with your ideas or with your design, but whom to listen? I have a practical thought on this. You can divide the listeners to two groups. One is the internal circle, another is external circles. What is internal circles? Internal circles you can form inside the company or inside the organization. That may be the production department or costing department or compliance or other departments in the company. So R&D people or different people you can talk to. So you can prepare, you can formulate these type of circle inside the organization. Other categories, external circles. External circles you can divide into two categories mainly, two subcategories mainly, non-users and users. Non-users means the group of people who is not using the product. Maybe you are developing a banking app. There are a lot of users. They may not use banking app. They are maybe following their own way, or they need not require that. So that's called non-users. Then they say I need not require that app. So that's non-users. So talk to them and get their views why they need not require. Okay. The other category is users. Users again we can subdivide into competitors users, your own consumers, then substitution users. Competitors users means the other brands already in the market who is using the other brand. Talk to them. The users who is using the competitor brands, talk to them. Customers the customers the of our company or your own company. Maybe if you are doing the UI design for the first version, you may not have customers. Still, you can talk about customers of the other products of your company, or you can avoid that group. But actually, it's better go to the customers who is using other products from your company because you can talk about their views and their brand loyalty, a lot of things. Then substitution users. Who are substitution users? Substitution users are the users who is using some method to reach the same objective. He may not be using competitors' products or your own products. Your own products means for on same objective. If you're designing for the version 2, you already have customers and competitors customers, but the users not using both products, but they have their own way to reach the same objective. For example, in a banking situation, He may not be using banking app, but he's engaging his sibling or his parents or his kids to do the transaction in that app. So that is called a substitution uses, because he needs or he use it. Actually, he's using it in a different way. Your product is not used by you, or your competitor's products is not used by that person. Still, he is reaching the objective in some other methods. That is called substitution uses. The objective is met by some other methods. Non-users means they're not at all using that. This is the difference between non-users and substitution users. So you can develop these type of circles, define these type of circles, and you can form these type of circles inside the organization and outside the organizations. Then segment these groups, the members in that group, to different segments. How you can do the segmentation? The scientific methods of segmentation we can apply, that is demographic segmentation. Demographic segmentation is based on LSM, the living standard measurement, or SEC is social economic classification. So in demographic segmentation, we mainly talk about income, age, occupation, and education. Divide the group into these segments. Then geographic segments, which country the users belongs to, or city or region. Then third is psychographic segmentation. It depends on this lifestyle, that is traditional lifestyle or modern lifestyle. Then attitude. Attitude is one of the important things. You can, of course, you can follow adoption curves. There is innovators, early adopters, early majority, late majority, and laggards. Segment the users to these categories. What are the categories? Innovators, early adopters, early majority, late majority, laggards. Innovators is the people who grab the new product immediately to try. Let's go innovators. Early adopters, they will use the product. They need the product in the first phase. The adopters, early adopters, then early majority. After the adopters, they will use over when after they feel that the product is successful in the community, they will start using it. Early majority, then late majority, they will be using in the downside, or they will be using when the product gets saturated. After saturation in the market, they will use the late majority. Then laggards, they always find the fault with your product, that they won't use the product. They will wait for the next version to come. So that's the attitude of different people. So you have to find the attitude of the people by using screening methods, then group these people into psychographic segmentation. Then behavioral segmentation talk about benefits and occasions. Benefits is maybe user is thinking about what is the benefit of this product. Is it value for money, or is giving any contribution to my day-to-day life schedule? So these are the benefits the user is looking for. Then occasions, maybe office, home, leisure, or different occasion. This is a behavior of the people who is using. Behavior of the people who is using in the community, that you had to divide the users into these categories. Then usage. That is mainly talk about usage rates, the heavy user, medium user, light user. Then awareness, the product awareness or brand awareness. So these are the segmentation. Why I am explaining all these five segmentations? If you apply these five segmentation, we call it as 360-degree segmentation. That is, you covered all the aspect of the society, and you can divide the groups into these 360-degree segmentations. So that means when you talk to a user, that user represent from the cross section of these segmentations. So when you select users from all cross sections, it will be a complete view from the community. Still think you may be thinking about my product is not for the entire society. That's correct. No company in the world can develop a product for the entire community. Look into any product or any level of company, maybe Google or Apple or Facebook, still that is not common. That is not a common product for the entire community. Look into the more generalized product. Maybe you can say phone is common to all. That maybe. I'm not saying maybe because there are only 90, maximum 90% people can use phone. There are a lot of category of people, they are not using the phone, they need not require phone. That's okay. Still, phone is such a common product. Still, look into the brand. They can't develop phone for the entire phone users, a particular category of people. When you take the particular category of people, it comes to the demographic or geographic or psychographic or behavioral or usage based. So find your users or define your users to whom you are, as a UI designer, for whom you are designing this. You should have a clarity on your mind. This UI is going for a illiterate person from a developing country, or this is going to a educated person in a developing country, or think that my product is a very regional product, or still your product is limited to only one city, still you can divide the city into the north, south, east, west and center. So then in that way you can divide, then apply the demographic segmentation. After applying demographic and geographic segmentation, apply psychographic and behavior and usage segmentation. Without segmentation, it's not advisable to meet people. You may say that I can just go to a casual way of talking to person in a street or in a public place and talk. Okay, that is allowed. But while discussing like that, you have to collect the information about these factors and for the analysis purpose, categorize that person to a segment. Because when you go to street, you may be talking to a kid, or you may be talking to a elder, you may be talking to a male, you may be talking to a female, or you may be talking to a highly educated, less educated person. So while discussing, you have to categorize because that these factors counts the opinion and the decision process of the user, their viewpoints. So if that opinion or the idea is coming from the targeted users you have or targeted users you define, that is very valuable opinion because you are going to meet them after releasing the product. So the targeted users, maybe if you are talking about version 2, the existing users and competitor users, that's called targeted users. And non-users, still it's a targeted users. Substitution, still it's a targeted user. But which category or which segment of the society you designed the UI, that means the product designer already designed for that particular category. The product is designed for that particular category. So your design, UI design also synchronized with that category of people from that society. Do not need not generalize. No product can generalize into that level. Look into the big companies, even though they have the same brand, still they are changing the UI for continents or country wise. Maybe the technology is same, still they are changing the UI for regions. So don't think that anybody can contribute to my UI design, I will follow. No, you need not follow like that. You have a specific objective for the product, that this product is going to meet the requirement of this category of people, then talk to them. Okay, the next question is when should UI designers listen? Okay, I say UI designer, I can listen anytime. Okay, any time is okay, but in what stage of UI designs you have to listen? Of course, as I said, explain these are the main stages of UI design process. Each stage you have to listen to users. The ideations process. You have to listen to your users, the segmented or targeted users after segmentation. You define the segmentation, then find the people or find the people and categorize them to a particular segment. The ideation stage, you have to talk to that targeted users and compare with ideas and finalize. Then you develop the wireframe. Before concluding the wireframe, you have to talk to the internal users, internal circles, then external circles, then complete the wireframe, then develop to mockup, do the same process, talk to external and internal users, complete the mockup, then develop to prototype design, user interface design as a prototype, talk to people, then MVP. When the UI is developed to the MVP stage, minimum viable product stage, talk to users, then complete the design and launch the product. After launching, again you have to talk to the users to get the real-time user experience. So based on the real-time user experience, you can develop next versions. So every stage, ideation, wireframing, mockups, prototyping, MVP, and real product. Every stage you have to talk to users. How many times you have to talk to your users according to your satisfaction? Maybe one sitting or multiple sittings or multiple phases you have to talk to users. Maybe in the mockup you talk to users and get some clarity on changes you have to make, then change the mockup. Again you can go to the users and check whether your change is correct. Again you will get some more clarity, then come back and do. So this process is going up to the saturation level. What we feel is if it's a mobile app, it will take around 15 sittings, 15 stages to complete prototype. Maybe the ideation you can complete in 2 or 3 stages, and wireframing 1 or 2 stages, mockups and prototyping it will take around 15. Prototype to MVP or mockup to prototype and MVP it will take around 15 sittings. Maybe every week you can do these type of sittings with users, these type of discussions with users. But if you are developing UI for a physical product, every week it's not possible because you get a lot of ideas from your users, but the technical team needs some time to implement that ideas or that changes, maybe once in a month or once in a quarter. Because if we are designing a UI for automobile, maybe once in 3 months, you can talk to the targeted users and finalize your design, because that design needs the development of that design needs a longer phase when compared to the digital products. So it depends on the product and your objectives. But in any product, it's a physical product or digital product, these stages are same: ideation, wireframing, mock-ups, prototyping, MVP, and UX. These are the milestones. So finalize this milestone or cross this milestone with targeted users. Then the next question comes: where should UI designers listen to users? What we suggest, you have to talk to users in their environment. They may have multiple environments, but experience their environment, because that is the environment where your product is going to use, or the user is going to use your product in that environment. The home environment, think about your mobile app, that's how it is using in a home environment by the targeted users. Think about automobile also, how they are parking their car, how they are cleaning the car, or how they are interacting with the car while it is in their home. So that way you had to, so yeah, from that environment you had to talk. The other environment is street. Think about in a casual ways you can talk to them. So that's all also an environment, because think about a mobile or an automobile. Street is a good environment to talk to. So there are a lot of restrictions the users have while they are in street. Then the third is workplace. Anyway, maybe a person is parking their car in the office, or think about agriculture person is working in a cultivation field. So workplace is one of the important environment we have to interact with users. Then lab, invite them to your lab. You can discuss about your designs or a prototype or minimum viable product. The main environments are home, street, workplace, and lab. Try to collect users' opinions and ideas from these environments. Okay, what should UI designers listen? The next question is, what should UI designers listen? So I can listen everything. Okay, of course. You have to listen everything from users, but you should have, as a UI designer, you should have specific objectives in your mind. If the user is diverting or user is not filling to that objectives, you can prompt. So what should UI designers listen? The first thing is quick responses. When you show your ideas, when you present your ideas, what's your quick response? When you show your wireframe model, what's your quick response? Like that, when you show the mockups, when you show the prototype, when you show the minimum viable product, what's your quick response? That's immediate response from their mind. You have to collect that. Second stage is, from that immediate responses, develop. User has to develop, not UI. User has to come to stories. Stories means their experience. Maybe using in their other products, maybe using the reaching the same objectives, their experiences that come up like a stories. So quick responses, then users has to present their stories. UI designer has to listen stories. So they had different stories to say. I already uh, done a presentation on different type of stories and how to analyze the stories. You can refer it my previous presentations on categorizing stories and how to judge the stories or how the stories will be developing. Then next comes to the positive thoughts from stories. Users will conclude the positive side of the experience and the negative sides of the experience. So the stories will be developing into positive thoughts and negative thoughts from the user's perspective. UI designer has to listen that. Then comes to ideas. Users comes with a lot of ideas. So if I had to do this, I'll be doing this. If I do this, it will be in that way. So that is better to do that way. So like that, users have a lot of ideas. Here their ideas. Then look to the walkthroughs, how the user is going to do it in real life. They have a lot of ideas, but whether they will use it, whether they will execute it, they will do it. If you come with that idea, whether they will use it. Go through the walkthroughs, the stage by stage of execution, or you can present the ideas as stage by stage, their own ideas in stage by stage in that discussion itself, and how they will interact with their own ideas. If the product come with their own ideas, they will say that marvelous and all, but don't limit to that level. So how they will do it step by step, whether they will use it, still the people won't follow their they won't use the product if, even though that the product is having the product designed with their own ideas, still they may not using. But while using the product, they will be finding a lot of other faults, other problems, that is, they may not be meeting the requirements, so may not be comfortable, or the ideas is marvelous always, but when we execute, there are a lot of problems comes in. So the walkthroughs also a must. So what should UI designers listen to users? Quick responses, stories, positive thoughts, negative thoughts, ideas, and walkthroughs. So it will come to a complete listening process from the users. Then you collect almost all the required information from users, then analyze. I am not explaining deep into analysis because this is for listening. This presentation is for listening. But I will insist you to start with SWOT analysis. That is strength, opportunities, threats, and weaknesses of your UI design. You already designed, maybe in the design stage or in the version 2 as a real UX stage, you have a UI design, wireframes or mockups or prototypes, whatever it may be. Find the strength, strong points, find the opportunities, that is how you can extend your design to one more aspect the user needs. Maybe you users will talking about, if I need this, that will be great. Maybe that is an important contribution to your idea, your UI. So use that opportunities. And what are the negative sides, the threats, how to overcome that threats, and according to users mind, what are the weaknesses. So you analyze all these segment. Based on these segments, you analyze these factors and conclude. Then what you have to do next? Every stage you have to do this process, then redesign. In any stage, you can go to this analysis. You have to do this analysis. All stages you have to talk to these people, or in one stage itself, in multiple phases, you have to talk to users as a UI designer. Then analyze their viewpoints, implement in your UI design. In the designing stage, you can implement it. What are the implement conditions? You are already go to my previous videos, and you will get what are the points you have to check while implementing users' ideas to your design. Don't just transfer the user ideas to your design. That's not possible because different segment of people come with the different ideas. You can't add all the ideas to your product. That's not possible. So conclude their ideas, then implement, or you redesign for the version 2. This is the way you have to conclude the analysis and use the analysis. Okay, what are the takeaways? We can conclude to listen to users to reach the consensus of ideas. Listen to targeted users. Listen to different segments of users. Listen to users in all stages of designing. Listen in different environments of users. Listen to quick responses, stories, positive thoughts, negative thoughts, ideas, and walkthroughs. This is the objective of listening. So, any stage of your design process, you can listen to users. So, these are the takeaways. I hope it is very clear to you. I need not explain it again. It's very clear. Uh, what's clear on what is the purpose and what you get while listening to users. Thank you so much. Thank you for your time. I hope you enjoyed my presentation. As I said earlier, you can share to your team. Questions?
Okay, the question is, I'm an individual, so how I can do all these things in my UI design journey or UI design process? Well, I'm an individual, how I can do UX research and UI design together? Okay, that's a good question. The best option is you talk to your client. So you may be doing the design for a client. So you can talk to your client and do the UX research from the client side. That's one option. Other option is you can engage another agency for doing that. So they will do the, there are a lot of agencies or the experts who do only UX research. That is another method. So anyway, you have to do UX research. You have to talk to targeted users. Otherwise, there is a high chance that it will be a different thing what you designed, and that targeted users is looking for some other product, or it's better as a safer side you have to include their views. And always keep in mind that so many times I express that view, this is should not be your idea. You are a leader of that ideas, but actually it should be a consensus of ideas. That's why you have to talk to targeted users. You can engage another agency, or you can talk to client to get it done in each stage of requirement. Any other questions? Okay, is it better to go for new ideas or deeper into your ideas? Okay, but you are in an ideation stage, it's better go for new ideas, because you can compare the ideas, and you can select the best idea. In other stages also, you can present your wireframe or prototype, then get their views. So at that stage, you may not be in a position to redo the entire process from scratch, but still you can take their ideas. In some ideas, you can store it for the next versions. If it's not possible to implement in the present stage, you can store it for next version. But in the ideation stage, okay, you can go for multiple ideas. Then wireframe also you can look for ideas, but after wireframing, that is mock-up or prototype stage, is better go for deep learning. So you present the ideas and get more add-ons or more rechecking or cross-checking of your ideas with user views. That's better. Okay, anymore? Okay, thanks a lot. I hope you enjoyed my presentation. Share with your friends. See you next week. See you on next week in the same time. Thank you.